It's an argument as old as time. Which is better for gaming, console or PC? For over a decade, I've had my own PC and have gamed on it to various extents. But I also own consoles, mainly PlayStations. During the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, I played both on PC and my console pretty evenly. However, during the last generation, I rarely ever gamed on my PC, and with good reason. The PS4 and Xbox One generation was extremely popular. For nearly a decade now, I have been a console guy, and that's the perspective I want to bring to a video like this. Quite frankly, it's not constructive to hear PC master race, stay away from console peasants, etc., because it really is a complex situation for what to game on and what works for each individual gamer. For me personally, it was easy to say the PS4 was the best system to game on, even though I had a more powerful PC. It was easy to recommend console, and if someone asked if they should switch to PC, I would say no, it does not make much sense. But now that we're more than halfway done this current generation, is this still the case? Well, simply put, no! Because many things have changed. But before discussing this current generation and what has changed, I must first talk about the last generation and why it was elite compared to PC. Now, when I talk about the previous generation, I'm not really talking about the Xbox One, because it pales in comparison to the PS4. To begin, we need to first understand why PC gaming is so good in general. More often than not, the PC's negatives are also its advantages. PC offers upgradability and customization. As tech improves and evolves, parts can be switched out. You can also pick out specific parts you want depending on your needs. Parts with RGB, the amount of RAM you want, the various CPUs and GPUs, etc. PCs can be many more things than just a gaming machine, and that is a great advantage. Though it will be far more expensive, having a powerful PC will mitigate the risk of having bad performance and visuals in a game. Though sometimes developers simply miss the mark with PC ports or versions, that is not always the case. If a game is actually optimized well for PC, you'll get higher frame rate and better resolution if your PC is up to the task. Moving on, there are also multiple stores to buy games from, like Steam or Epic Games Store. In the same vein, these services and being on PC allow mods to be installed easily, which can change, enhance, or even fix games. When pinning PC against many consoles, PCs are often a good or better option. So historically, why have consoles been so attractive then? There are two factors: value and convenience. Many consoles offer value and convenience, but the PS4 took this to a whole nother level. So much so that I believed PC gaming was simply not worth it compared to having a PS4. So let me discuss those two factors when it came to the PlayStation 4. First, the value of the PS4 was unmatched. Each year, there were multiple high-quality exclusives that released for the console, on top of every third-party game releasing for PS4 as well. Moreover, the PS4 released at a price of $400, which was $100 cheaper than the Xbox One, and infinitely cheaper than building a PC with similar specs. But later on is when the price difference shined. In September 2016, the PS4 Slim released at $300, with later sales offering it as low as $200. That kind of value just cannot be matched by any PC. Yes, PCs are more powerful, but these kinds of prices allow so many people on a tight budget to pick up a console and game. Second, there is the convenience. Many take for granted the fact that consoles are so convenient and user-friendly. You turn it on and start a game. You don't need to mess with many settings. Both exclusives and third-party games were often optimized for consoles first as well. Because of this, it's almost a guarantee that console gamers were treated to a game that booted up and ran pretty well, since developers focused on that version. PC versions do not always get the same treatment. Additionally, compared to PCs, consoles rarely have random issues. Rarely. If there is an issue or error, then most of the time a quick Google search will give you a helpful answer or solution. With PCs, it's just not the same. They are more complex machines, which means the issues are usually more complex. Since the parts inside a PC are so independent for upgrade purposes, there can be many points of failure. In a given week, I'll encounter random issues with my PC for seemingly no reason. I will wake up my computer from being asleep and it will randomly show a blue screen and say something went wrong before having to reboot. A few months ago, I was recording gameplay and my OBS capture froze my entire PC. I rebooted it only to find my computer could no longer boot up past the BIOS screen. If I did not have my tech-savvy brother to guide me through the ridiculous process and save the day, I would have likely lost everything on my PC because even with Googling, there was no way I was going to figure out that complex process. PC and convenience just simply does not mix. To be clear, many of the advantages the PS4 had is what other consoles have as well. Compared to PC, consoles are always going to be cheaper and more convenient. However, what made the PS4 so special is that it gave tremendous value. Looking back, it's really unbelievable how much value the PS4 gave. The PS4 did not simply have a few console exclusives. Each year it released multiple high-quality first-party and third-party exclusives. For example, in 2018, God of War, Detroit Become Human, Shadow of the Colossus remake, and Spider-Man released for PS4. In 2020, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Spider-Man Miles Morales all released for PS4 as well. Though these look to be standout years, this is pretty much representative of any year within the PS4's life cycle. The exclusives kept coming, and a ridiculous amount were high quality. These games also highlight the console's extreme longevity. These games look magnificent on PS4, and it's crazy to think a base PS4 from 2013 could run games like this. But the PS4 did not end in 2020 when the PS5 released. Now, I am not a fan of the previous generation lasting as long as it has into this current one, but it has. As a result, the PS4 continued to impress. This console running Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok is nothing short of spectacular. The visual fidelity on display from a console nearly a decade old at the time is unheard of. Last but not least, COVID and the shortages of current-gen consoles and GPUs further cemented how good the PS4 was to many. Instead of paying scalpers, many people decided to turn to their console they already owned and continue playing on it, even though it was older. This situation, on top of cross-gen titles still coming out on PS4, created a scenario where people realized next-gen consoles and new PC GPUs are not necessary. Why go through the hassle of trying to build a PC when everyone was scalping any GPU? Just go buy a PS4 Slim for $200 and enjoy a huge backlog of exclusives and new cross-gen titles coming out. In many ways, it would be considered dumb not to buy a PS4 at that point. The value was just too good to pass up. Thus, the PS4 was a special console, one that truly made gaming great. PCs will always be technically better, but to me, there is no denying how much more attractive the PS4 console was. If you wanted a game, then buying a PS4 was the smart move. But that was then, and this is now. The PS5 and Xbox Series X is in full swing, and comparing them to PC yields a very different conclusion. Being halfway through this console generation now, it is clear that PCs have become more attractive than ever. But why this is the case and how it happened will be discussed in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.